Okay.
Okay, next slide. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is our 2024 Service Unit Cookie Booth training. So we just finished our Cookie Manager training. So we will have a recording sent out to everybody by, probably Monday with some slides. We'll also send this one out as well with these slides. So you have some time to look it over. And then if you have any questions that pop up after all of this, you can always email us and let us know. So tonight we're going to specifically focus on the booth sale portion, a little bit about your roles and responsibilities, what's new, types of booth, the guidelines, some council booths, really, again, kind of like last night and the other last week with the Service Unit Cookie Manager training, focusing more on new things you really need to know about, so that you can explain them with some more detailed answers to your troops. So next slide. So we're going to quickly meet the team. As you know, I'm Rebecca Frazetta, Product Program Manager. We have, you can go to the next one too, Gail, sorry.
Sorry.
We have Gail Harris here, our Product Program Specialist. She's running the slides. We have Latoya David. She's our Product Program Specialist, External Affairs. She is, will be here almost a year now, come December, and you'll hear me name drop her a little bit more when it comes to council booths, because she's going to be the one that you'll get emails from regarding those. So just to kind of put a name to the face, you can see her on there. Angela Joyner is our boss. She's the VP of Business Operations. And then we have Ann Lazier here from Hearthside ABC Bakers. So she'll talk a little bit about the baker, the cookies, and then kind of jump in and make sure we're explaining Smart Cookies and Digital Cookie to you a little bit better. Okay, next slide. So Ann, we're going to let you kickstart and go over the company and cookies.
Okay, great. Thank you. Really happy to be here again tonight to work with Girl Scouts of Central and Southern New Jersey. So who is Hearthside? Hearthside is one of the largest food manufacturers in the United States. We are a fairly young company, and we've been growing by acquisitions, but now we're really going to be growing to, help support all of our customers. Probably tonight, if you were to go into your pantry, you would find something that's a Hearthside product. But we don't bake under our own labels. We bake for other people like Girl Scouts. So we bake cookies. We also have a division. We bake a lot of bars. We do some fresh and frozen. So really have a lot of expertise in the food industry. We really have a vision to be the world's most trusted partner in food, and we want to lead with manufacturing excellence. So how do we do that? We have these values that we believe we share with Girl Scouts. So we focus on people. We want to trust and empower our teams, and we want to work closely on safety. So not only protecting our teams, the people in our bakeries, people in our factories that are working, but also make sure that our products are safe and therefore our customers. We want to drive performance. We always want to make today better than yesterday and continuously improve. And we want to deliver for our customers like Girl Scouts. And so put passion into every product. The next slide. So we talk about America's Best Cookies. That's what ABC stands for. And so we proudly have what we think are 9 of the best cookies in the industry. So we have our 5 core classics, our Caramel Delights, Peanut Butter Sandwich, Peanut Butter Patties, Trefoils Thin Mints, and then 4 more that have really helped to incrementally grow your sale: the Adventurefuls, the Lemonades, Toast J, and Caramel Chocolate Chips. So you can see there's no change in the lineup for this year in the number of or the types of varieties, with the exception that there is no more online only Raspberry Rally cookies. So we're really focusing on our core, a decision made by GSUSA. And we have cookies that are made with vegan ingredients. So really exciting for customers who want to follow a vegan lifestyle, but would still like to have a treat in their diet. So we have 6 of our cookies made with vegan ingredients. They're all shown here. And you can always get information on allergens and full nutritional information, both through the Smart Cookies website and through ABC Baker's website. And, at any time, get that information to have for your troops and for your customers at booths. Some other features for our cookies, they are kosher. They have 0 trans fats. We took out partially hydrogenated oil several years ago, so really proud of that. We have no high fructose corn syrup in any of our cookies. They are halal certified as well. We also use certified sustainable palm oil, and exception is the gluten-free cookie. And I know there's often a lot of comments and concerns about the use of palm oil in Girl Scout cookies every year. And both bakers are working on, reducing the amount that they use, but it's still something that we need to use in our cookies because it has no taste, it has a high melt point. So I really encourage you, if you get questions about palm oil, GSUSA did a fantastic guide both for troops and for girls all about palm oil. So you can search palm oil on the girlscouts.org website, and they've got a great kit that you can find out more about it. And then we also believe in protecting the environment. So all of our cartons are recyclable. Most plastic trays in most communities are recyclable. Just check with your local, the little guide your trash collector gives you with all the numbers that they accept. But most of them are accepted in most communities. And then the next slide. Contrary to what folks say at booth sales when they walk up and say, oh my gosh, these boxes are so much smaller than last year, we've had no changes in the net weight or the number of cookies or the sizes of our boxes in the past over a decade. So now a couple of those cookies are new within the decade, but when we brought them out at a very they're at the same rate that they were when they were first introduced. So no changes in any of the cookies as far as weights or packaging. And I think I'm back over to Rebecca.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Anne. And again, Anne will be here if any questions that pop up, but as well as when we have questions when we get to smart cookies and stuff like that. So right now we're just going to talk about a few things that are new for 2024. And this is just a little screenshot of the things that you as service unit booth coordinators could be doing during those time periods. So obviously between now and December, you want to be looking and contacting for booths in your communities, reaching out to booths you've already worked with, reaching out to new prospective businesses, to try to start to build your booth schedule for your lottery. January, our cookie program begins Thursday, January 11th. So ideally you want to try to hold your lotteries before that weekend. So, I know a lot of you do so in December anyway, but that way everybody's ready to go, knows what booths they're doing and can have cookies for them. You'll continue to add and confirm booth locations into Smart Cookies, run your lotteries, and assign troops to booths in Smart Cookies. And then February, March, our program ends Sunday, March 3rd this year. So we're back again to a traditional 7.5-week sale about that. So you're just going to kind of continue as usual. If you do get to the point of, I'm done with booths, whatever's left open can be open to everybody. We'll give you a tip on how you can do that in Smart Cookies, so that you're just I'm no longer facilitating it. Whatever open booth slots are left, we'll open them up, and then whoever wants them can get them, type of thing. That typically happens towards the end of February. And then at March and April, we just want you to take a moment, follow up with your store managers, see how the booths went, thank them, send them a thank you note, have the girls send pictures, anything like that. Especially if you're in a smaller community, you want to make sure your businesses will continue to let you use them year over year. So just quickly, do we have a date? So the cookie meg deliveries are going to be between January 3rd and January 10th, that Wednesday to Wednesday. So we're waiting on a few more service units to fill out that form, and Gail has reached out to them if they haven't. And then we will be building those dates, the mega drops. What'll happen is, once we get our initial order tickets in early December, we submit that to the delivery agents, and then they take your requested dates and times if you're getting the cookies delivered to you, and then they build the schedule. So you'll hear your confirmed date probably right before the Christmas holiday. I try to get it to them by by December 14th, 15th. They're usually pretty good at doing this, but worst case, it may be like a few days after Christmas. Just because we close, they are still open after the holiday, so they'll get their schedules done and then we let you know. Okay, next slide. Just as a reminder, by now everybody has probably heard that our cookie prices, all cookies, including gluten-free, will be sold for $6 this year. So just something as booth coordinators to, you know, make sure your troops know. We do have a cookie chronicle that shows all of the expenses that go into cookie pricing. And then we have an FAQ. Both of those are on our website. They're also on the cookie rallies. We are working with our marketing department to create kind of a one-page little flyer that troops can print out that basically says like why support Girl Scouts. You know, customers can go into Aldi, Walmart, ShopRite, the dollar store and get the knockoffs. But so this can be something that troops can use if somebody says, well, why should I support you? I'm going to go inside and get them at Aldi. The troops can kind of maybe put it in a placard or just kind of show them, well, this is what's happening. The proceeds stay local with us. You're supporting our girl experiences. These are the things that you support when you purchase cookies from us and not go buy a knockoff. So we'll have that resource as well updated on the rallies once it's approved. So you just want to make sure, and it's in all the guides, but you want to make sure when you do your training that your troops are aware that cookies have to be sold for $6 a package. Next slide. Something else that I just want to bring your attention to, we're doing a cookie crew program this year. So this doesn't really, you don't have to do anything about this, but this is essentially a GSCSNJ staff facilitated program. Pretty much we're piloting it out to let girls who are in troops who may not be selling participate in cookies. Or if there's girls who are waiting for a troop placement, but they don't want to become Juliettes, this is a way that they can participate in a limited fashion in the cookie program. So we, as the staff, we will be handling all the transactions. They'll order cookies through us. They'll pick up cookies. They'll make payments. So the service unit cookie managers and booth coordinators do not have to worry about that. But what will happen is we are going to allow them to do, obviously, lemonade stands. They can do that at their home because any girl can do that. So we want to make sure that you're aware. So if any girls in your service unit signs up for this program, we will let you and your cookie manager know. We want them to also have your contact so that if they do a lemonade stand, they give you the paperwork so you have that form. And then if they want to do a traditional booth, what we are going to recommend is that maybe you can try to partner them with some Juliettes, or just be aware during your lotteries that you may have girls who might want to do this. We have no idea how many girls may sign up for this, but we will definitely keep you posted. We'll have a full guide. Everything will be laid out in the guide on how this program will work. So just more details to come, but we wanted you to be aware if you see something in the guides, like a cookie crew participant, that's who we're talking about. Next slide. Credit cards and shipping subsidy. So credit cards, again, this year for 2024, GSCSNJ is going to pay for all credit card transactions used through Digital Cookie. This is the best way for girls to take booth payments, to take credit card payments for orders. We are covering all of those transaction fees. If troops decide to continue to use an old Square card reader or do Apple Pay, those fees are the responsibility of the troop. Those are not covered by us. So essentially, troops have to realize all of those fees are being deducted from their troop proceeds. So we really want to promote that troops utilize the Digital Cookie credit card function, which is a lot easier this year and much more user-friendly. And then shipping subsidy, this doesn't really affect you as well, but again, we want to just make you know, we are going to have an exciting announcement regarding that. We're waiting for the final approval on what it is, but what we want you to know is our troops are used to a 50% off subsidy for the entire sale. So we have invested a really spectacular amount of money to do a shipping promotion, but it will not be for the entire sale. So we are going to do big social media countdowns to it. We will let you know the date of when it will kickstart to keep you posted, but we want your let your troops know, hey, make sure you're watching our social media. It will be towards the beginning of the cookie program, not that first week, but it will be towards the first part of the cookie program. So just something exciting that's in the works, and it's coming down the pipeline. Okay. Now, I'm just checking. I don't see any questions about that stuff so far. So we're going to turn it over to Gail, and she's going to go over your role and responsibilities as the service unit booth coordinator.
Hi, everybody. Just a few things for you. So just be in the know. Make sure that you've signed up for our service unit cookie manager and booth coordinator rally and rallyhood. Sorry, I turned my camera on because my kittens were sleeping, and now that I'm talking, they're all walking on my papers. So hold on one second. Sorry. It's just okay, that's better. And I can shove them out of the way without everybody watching me. Yeah, so most of you, I think, have already joined the service unit cookie manager rally. If you haven't, please make sure that you are a part of that. That's where you'll get messages from us, and there's lots of information in the files and the links that are there. So there's also the 2024 cookie rallyhood. That one's more geared towards troops. There's one specifically geared towards the service unit. And just remember to be a troop liaison. You are the first point of contact for your troops and the Juliet advisors regarding cookie booths. And you want to be available for them. There's usually a lot of questions. Be proficient in smart cookies and just communicate. Keep the council and other service unit cookie managers and the troops in the know. The more information that you can share about booths, about anything like that, the better. So there we go. No, I went too far. There we go. Sorry. Find booth locations in your service unit area. Contact and confirm those potential locations. And the most important thing is to upload and add those booths into Smart Cookies. When those booths are out there, when the booth finder link is available, it lets customers know that the booth is there. It gives the girls the opportunity and troops to take credit cards at the booth. It's really important that those booths are in Smart Cookies. If you need help with that along the way, if you're doing it and something's not working right, reach out to us, we'll help you. Make sure that you train troops, Juliet advisors, cookie crew participants about booth etiquette and safety guidelines. Support the troops, the Juliet advisors, and the cookie crew participants with booth opportunities, and just make sure that you're assigning those booths in a fair manner. Again, you're that liaison between the local businesses and the Girl Scouts, as well as between the troops and the council. You're there to help resolve any conflicts and enforce any consequences if necessary. And a little bit about conflicts. In the event that a troop find themselves in conflict with others over a cookie booth, these are the steps that should be taken. And the most important thing, remain calm. Ask everybody to remain calm, talk it over, try and figure out what happened. You can always contact your SUM or us to help you resolve conflict. We understand that these are community members that you know, and you may not feel comfortable enacting consequences for poor behavior. So don't feel that you have to do it alone. We're here to help you. Please remind everyone to limit the involvement of the store manager and just try and come up with a quick and peaceful resolution. Just having booths in Smart Cookies does help with a lot of issues where we've had situations where two troops show up for the same booth. Having that booth in Smart Cookies is one way to avoid that, because then you know who's actually assigned. But again, if you need help, please reach out to us. All right, so let's just see. I don't see any questions. Let me just double check.
Yep,
Nope.
you're good.
Okay, so alternate cookie options. So, we have drive-through cookie booths, and those really started with COVID, trying to keep everybody safe, but they've become popular in certain areas. So a drive-through cookie booth is just held in a parking lot, someplace that can accommodate easy flow of traffic, first in, first out, kind of like a fast food drive-through window where you pull up you'll place your order, drive to the next location and pick up your food. So you'd have like a table for placing the order, collecting the money, and then they'd drive to the second table and pick up their cookies. They're coordinated by the service unit cookie booth coordinator, just like any other cookie booth, also added to Smart Cookies and the GSUSA Cookie Finder link and to the booth lottery. So good to have cones and signs to direct traffic and set up safety guidelines. A maximum of two adults and 4 girls should be at each station. So in a drive-through cookie booth, you're probably going to have 2 stations, you know, an order one and then a cookie delivery station. So, you know, you can do that. The other options are pop-up cookie booths, like a lemonade stand. Those are hosted outside of the Girl Scouts home, 2 girls and 2 adults. The same family and 1 adult must be registered and background checked. Families must inform the troop leader and complete the pop-up booth agreement. That form will be forwarded to the service unit booth coordinator, and they'll not be added to Smart Cookies or on the GSUSA Cookie Finder, but we want everyone to be aware that they're happening so there's no overlap in locations or anything like that. All right, excuse me, cat on my papers again, sorry. So we're good there. So let's talk a little bit about some booth guidelines. So just a reminder that Heather asked, does it have to be 2 girls for the lemonade stand? Can there just be 1 girl and 2 adults?
Yeah, so a lemonade stand really is a it's a, you know, a pop-up shop at a girl's home. It can be 1 girl. We had just added that we don't want it to be, you know, if a parent has 2 girls or 3 siblings, that's okay that they're all out there. You know, obviously they're using those girls' cookies. We just don't want it to end up being, what was happening when we started this is that some people might have lived at really popular locations, maybe right on a main street. So they were saying it was a pop-up booth, but it really was a troop booth. And then, you know, so really the thing to remember is that it should be really siblings, people who live at the home, you know, or if parents are separated, or, you know, if grandma has a house, but the girl lives in an apartment, like that's okay. You know, we don't want to go crazy, but we want to look at specific maybe custody situations. You know, some people complain, oh, well, this was dad's house, she doesn't live here all the time. No, she still lives there. It's her dad's house. It's okay. We can't tell people not to sell at their own property. But we just want to keep it, making sure that it stays within that family. So, you know, we just don't want it to turn into a unofficial troop booth when it's meant to be for the girls who live or have families that reside at that residence. So I hope that helps. And again, you know, this really is at their home. You know, they may not always have 2 adults there. That's okay. It might just be mom there, you know, but again, these are parents who are already getting cookies from the troop. They, you know, they're already responsible for those cookies. So we just want to keep those things in mind.
Thank you. All right, so just some reminders. All adults that handle cookie money must be registered for the 2024 Girl Scout year and background checked. If both adults are from the same household, only the adult handling the money must be registered and background checked. Remember that it's a maximum of 4 girls and 2 adults at each booth. No siblings or extra parents or pets at the cookie booth. All cookies must be sold for $6. Just remember, girls are there for a short amount of time to sell cookies, and that should really be the focus. They shouldn't be eating or running around or doing homework. You know, for the hour or 2 that they're there, they should really be focused on the cookie selling, on their customers. And
I just, like what Gail's saying, I just kind of want to throw in there is that we get calls about this. We get calls when there's extra parents in camping chairs, like they're camping around a campfire, you know, when there's pets there, when girls are running around, when it's chaotic. We get those calls. Yeah. And if we're getting those calls from random customers, they're complaining to the store managers. So that means this could be a possible location that you're going to lose if, you know, because a lot of times the people working at the stores don't want to confront the girls, but they're going to complain to the owner, to the manager. And then, you know, service units have been unfortunately in places where they've lost really great locations. So that's why we have these rules in place.
Right.
That's why we ask that you do these smaller time slots, you know, max 2 hours, and let girls be there for what they're supposed to be there for. Selling cookies, you know, they can have a snack, they can have a quick drink, but I mean, we get calls when girls are out there eating full meals and doing homework and parents are selling. Like, we get all of those calls. So
Another question in the chat about,
older girls, Heather, I have to look into that. I know we did something a few years ago about older girls, it being one a girl and one adult. Let me just confirm with Angela and then I will let everybody know. Sorry, Gail, go ahead.
no, we're okay. I think we're back to you now.
Yep. Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Yes, I think again, I do remember when we had made that adjustment for older girls. You know, especially once girls start driving and they're like, well, their parents don't come. So I'll definitely look into that. I don't know if that's like an unofficial thing that we just kept continuing. But I do want to you know, definitely find out, you know, for sure, but I don't think it's a problem again. Okay. Because we do let Juliet's be like a one girl in attendance, as long as, you know, it was having the 2 adults was the issue. So really, that's just what I have to find out. Okay.
Okay.
So council cookie booths. There's a couple things this year that I really just want to talk about, some changes that we're going to enact again. Like I mentioned earlier, LaToya David is going to be the point person. So you may have already started getting some feeler emails out. I know she was sending emails out to some counties asking if they wanted to be a part of some new opportunities. You know, the reason we did that because depending on where you live, you may not want to be part of that rotation. So it's easier for us to know now if you don't want to be in that rotation versus creating the whole schedule and then realizing we have huge gaps and then trying to figure out how to evenly give those out. So we'll definitely be in touch in the next week or two with some of those early council booths that have been approved, like our Dream Lab, our Girl Experience Center. Will, you know, those things we're going to be reaching out to soon. So, but keep an eye out if you get messages from LaToya David. Again, she's going to be the one from our team who reaches out. Okay. So council booths, there's a few new guidelines that we are going to implement this year. Because of just previous years and best practices for doing things. So the first thing that we want to let everybody know, so the service unit territory that the council cookie booth falls in is located, we'll get that first weekend, which is usually the first weekend of the sale, unless they've given us a different date. Reason being, and I can understand, you know, for example, Let's Lawrence in Quaker Bridge Mall. There was one year Quaker Bridge Mall traditionally falls in the Let's territory because their mailing address is Lawrence. And one year, I think they got like the 5th or 6th weekend and they were pretty upset about that. So we can kind of understand that. So moving forward, if the council cookie booth is in your territory, example, Cherry Hill Mall, Cherry Hill will get that first weekend and then we'll rotate everybody else. If there's open gaps that have to be filled, you know, just say something happens to service units, like, oh, we don't want any weekends after the fact, we're going to kind of go back again to the location it's in because they live there. So we're usually short on time and we really need to get those slots filled as fast as possible. So just keep that in mind. This territory that the council cookie booth is in is going to get that first weekend of time slots. When we do send out schedules, big issues the past few years is getting those completed schedules back. So if we need them back, it's because the facility wants them back. So Acme, for example, wants them back. That woman sends them out to every Acme manager, lets them know who is going to be there. If there's an issue, they want their contact information to say if something happens at Acme and they need to cancel it, they want to be able to contact the person. It's their rules, it's their business. We got to go with it. So if we don't receive these completed schedules back by the deadline given, we're going to remind you, like we always do, we're going to call you. We're probably going to give you an extra day. But if for some reason they're still not sent back to us, we are going to put those booths in Smart Cookies and assign them to your service unit. So that means all of your troops in your service unit are going to see them go in and they'll have a first opportunity. It's called the, I'm drawing a blank, but first serve opportunity to select a booth. Because again, we need to get these schedules completed. We need to get contact information and we need to send it to the businesses. This is usually for any booths that are prior to your lottery, because we know you have your whole lottery processes. We don't want to mess with that. So we're really going to try to do our best to let you handle this. For any council booth opportunities that come after the start of the sale. So this means your lotteries are already done, your booth schedules are done. We're automatically going to upload any opportunities that come into Smart Cookies. So last year we got a few last minute businesses that really wanted to work with us. Like these are businesses that come to us like last minute, Chick-fil-A, a couple furniture stores, like they're reaching out. They want to work and create partnerships with Girl Scouts. So we want to do our best to support them. If this happens after the start of the sale, they give us what they're willing to let booths do. We're going to put it automatically in Smart Cookies and assign it to your service unit. That way we'll let you know. We're going to email you. We're going to email the cookie manager so you can give them a heads up, but we're going to act fast. This way we don't need to go back and forth a million times with you in email. Any open slots that are still remaining after 3 days, which should be none because they usually go pretty fast, we will open them up to all troops in that county. So for example, if a new booth opportunity pops up in Cherry Hill and it's after the cookie sale starts, maybe they're giving us 2 weekends of booth slots, we're going to put it in, we're going to assign it to the Cherry Hill service unit. They're going to have 3 days. On the 4th day, we're going to see that booth. We can see if there's any open slots, and then we're going to open it up to all of Camden County troops. That way other troops in the area can select them if your troops can't. We just want to make sure we're fulfilling this because we had a couple locations last year that nobody showed up for. We had really hard times collecting schedules back, and it's just, you know, I get it. It's, you know, some people don't want us doing this, but these are businesses that come to us. So we really want to work with them because we never know, it can be a really great location. All booths, you know, we want you to do all of your booths, but all council booths must be uploaded into Smart Cookies. So if we give you these schedules, like say Acme, that happens, you do your lottery, we want to make sure you're adding all of these booths to Smart Cookies, because a big part of the promotion, the partnership, is that these businesses are added to the National Booth Finder. So when customers put in that zip code, they will see their business listed as a location for cookie booths, and that can drive sales to their business. So that's a kind of like a win-win for them. They're getting free promotion for the weekends that you have booths there. Make sure you check your emails. A big issue last year was people just like, oh, I don't check my email. Like, I get it. Trust me, I get it. There was a time I had a newborn. I worked full time. I went to school full time. You know, I get it. We're busy, but during cookies, the beginning of cookies, take some time to scroll your email. I don't care if you don't respond to anybody else, but if you see an email from me, Latoya, or Gail, read it and respond to us. I don't care about anybody else, but that's been a big issue. So check your emails, make sure we have the email you want us to use. You know, we've gotten some stuff. If your email changes, let us know. We got some people last year who were like, oh, that's not even my email anymore. You know, let us know, because that's how we're going to communicate. We're communicating with the information you give us. So again, just some new guidelines, because Smart Cookies really does an amazing job of handling booths. So I know sometimes we still have these schedules because we need, you know, Acme gives us the schedule. They give us the grid. We send out their grid. They want their grid back. So, you know, sometimes we have to go with what the business asks us, but it'll save you a lot of time and work if these are automatically put into Smart Cookies, because then troops can just pick and grab them. You don't have to do anything, especially after your lotteries. Don't do another online lottery. Like, don't drive yourself crazy. Put them in Smart Cookies, and first come, first serve. You know, we can set it up so that only the troop can only pick one at a time, you know, and then do another round. Like, we can do all of that. If you want to make sure those settings are correct, we can do that. Okay. Oh, Yvette, you look for my emails. Thanks. So, yep. So Latoya is working with Chick-fil-A again. Cherry Hill was a pilot last year. So their team there is helping us connect with other Chick-fil-A's. We do know there's some Raising Cane's. I love Raising Cane's. I'm right by PA, so I go to that one to get it. We know there's a few Raising Cane's. We're hoping they open up by our cookie program. So we're hoping to get those locations. But yes, Latoya is working on getting some Chick-fil-A's and expanding that. And you know, Vicki, I get it. Your service unit might not have any council booths, but this is the idea of having these booths in Smart Cookies. So essentially, if they don't open up, we're opening them up to counties. And then we're going to talk about how service units can open booths up to everybody in a few minutes. We're going to talk Wawa in a second. So if you cannot put your council booths in Smart Cookies, so the question was, is council putting Acme's in or is the service unit? We're asking the service unit booth coordinator to do it, but if you can't, let us know and we'll support you and we can do it. I know some of you are awesome with Excel and that template is like a breeze. Some prefer to manually enter them, whatever floats your boat. But if you're in a situation where work's crazy, you're sick, whatever, just let us know and our team will work and get those locations in. Okay, next slide. I think I got all the questions there. So the GSUSA, so some of these are GSUSA partnerships, Joann Fabrics, GNC, they work with them, they get the list of locations, they give us all the guidelines. As soon as those get finalized, approved, we will send them your way. So we don't handle anything with scheduling. We just give you the parameters because there's not that many GNCs and there's not that many Joanns. So we usually just let the service units know, hey, here you go. These are the rules. These are the dates. Go at it. As soon as we get them, which should be soon, we're hoping for the next few weeks, we'll send them over to you. Acme has given us a tentative okay. Acme partners with all 4 New Jersey councils. So they're just working on confirming the 3 weekends. They mentioned that they're possibly looking at February for their 3 weekends. So I actually asked Latoya to email them because they typically don't give us Super Bowl weekend. So does that mean it's the other 3? Like, problem solved right there. If it's only 3 weekends and you're not giving a Super Bowl, it's the other 3. As soon as we get the Acme 3 weekends and that schedule, we will let you know. We'll get them out. But a lot of these businesses are kind of starting to get in like Thanksgiving mode. So Latoya is following up with them like every 3 to 5 days. But we will let you know. You know, Wawa's a no. So this is what I want from you guys. Wawa Corporate told us no. We mentioned that we have seen Boy Scouts selling popcorn at some Wawas, and they said, well, Wawa Corporate has a no solicitation policy, so it could be that a local manager chose to let them. So what I would like, if you see any of your Wawas selling anything, Boy Scouts popcorn, have another organization out there selling, please let me know, because I want to continue to have this conversation with corporate Wawa, because we said, well, can we just go ask the managers? And they were like, no, because it's a corporate policy. So probably what's happening is maybe it's a manager's Boy Scout and they're breaking the rules by doing it. So I don't want to be like, you know, a Karen about it, but you know, I'm like a Karen about it, but it's also upsetting that Wawa has always let Girl Scouts do it. They stopped with COVID, which I understand, but we have heard more and more Wawas are letting Boy Scouts do it. So if you have a Wawa in your territory that you see is letting Boy Scouts, Salvation Army, another Little League group, just let me know, because I do just kind of want to continue the conversation with their corporate and in hopes that we can try to get a Wawa weekend again. So that's kind of my goal with that. So just keep me in the know if you see that happening at your local Wawa. But I've been trying since 2021 to get Wawa back, but they're not easy. Walmart's. So we have a meeting with GSUSA next Wednesday, November 1st. We're hoping that we're going to get the Walmart go ahead, but it is going to be the same. They want to do the same system again. So Wawa has this electronic reservation system. This is Walmart's system. they want to use this system to request booths. We have, I believe, 31 Walmarts in our council territory, 31 or 33. Last year through the system, 11 immediately approved it. They have had conversations, they've heard the feedback that it was a hot mess last year. When you all went in, your managers told you, we have no idea what you're talking about. Like, it's their system, it's not our system. This is a Walmart fund development system that they run. Like, it's not us, it's not Girl Scouts, it's theirs. So we gave all that feedback back to GSUSA. They have said they have been in, because now they're working on the next 2-year contract. So they said they have talked to Walmart about it. Walmart has supposedly done additional training for their managers to know. So we're hoping, again, they told us November it's going to open up. We're hoping we're going to get the date on Wednesday. As soon as we are told we have the go ahead, we will go in again and we will put in for all of our Walmarts for the maximum amount of cookie booths that they're allowing. Last year's contract was 14 days, no more than 3 consecutive days, limited to 8 hours. So I believe we had put in for like Saturdays and Sundays of like every weekend, except for Super Bowl weekend. Because again, that's a blackout weekend. I think that's their only blackout weekend that affects our sale. So we have to do it again, but what we kind of are okay with you doing in the meantime is if you happen to be at your local Walmart and you're the person, don't give them anything in paper. You can, introduce yourself and just say, you know what, we're excited to do cookie booths again. We're hearing, and we'll let you know. Once I know that date opens, I will let you know and say, hey, everybody, if you have a Walmart in your territory, we submitted it. I am totally fine with you going in and trying to build a relationship. If you already know those managers, to say, hey, guess what? We submitted, you're open to, I'll give you the name of the system that they use. I think they had a handout last year. So I will let you, know, hey, go over and say, hey, we put in the approval. Can you go in and approve it? We're hoping this goes more smoothly this year. Apparently it's supposed to, because GSUSA has really had detailed conversations with them, but our goal is to get as many Walmarts as possible. As always, each manager has the option of not allowing it. So I know we have a couple that say no, which, we're going to work on. Every year we work on them and see if there's a new manager, if we can get it again, but they do have the ultimate decision to say no. And we'll keep you posted on that. We will definitely send emails and keep you posted. We'll post in the service unit rally. This agreement does not apply to Sam's Club. So if you have a Sam's Club in your area, you are free to go to them. Dunkin' Donuts is no longer considered a GSUSA booth partnership. If you have a Dunkin' Donuts, you can go to them now. You don't need us. You don't need any paperwork. So don't delay on that. I'm just going to check the thing. So we just talked about Walmart. So hang tight on Walmart. We are the ones who will have access to their electronic reservation system. As soon as GSUSA says the site's open, we will go in and automatically submit, and we'll keep you posted. We'll let you know too, like, hey, we've submitted it. If you feel like dropping in or calling your local manager to push it, we will. Hopefully again, they'll work with us again, and it'll be much better. And I hope it opens up next week. So that's our goal. And we should find out on Wednesday when it's going to open. And just like other council booths, all of those Walmarts, every booth, we want you to upload into Smart Cookies, which we'll talk about in a minute, but they have to be uploaded into Smart Cookies. All right. I think we've got all the questions.
Yeah, we're covered there.
Okay. So Smart Cookies. It's really important that your troops upload booths, all of your booths. So there's 2 ways you can do it. We'll talk about the benefits of adding them, but there's an Excel sheet that we share with you that we should have to you by next week. And there's a whole tutorial on how to do it. So if you're an Excel person, it's actually super easy, just watching the steps and doing it. But if you're having problems with that, send it to us, because Smart Cookies does have a great technical team that have troubleshooted issues before, when people are like, I know Excel? Like, why isn't it going in? They can figure out what's wrong. That's the easiest way to upload booths when you have them all in there, or you can manually add them. Gail and I, Latoya, we manually add booths all the time. It's a little bit more time consuming, but if you're not an Excel person, it's super easy to walk through too. And I believe there's a Smart Cookies video on that as well. So something to keep in mind is you really want to be entering all of your booths. It's easy for you to manage, and we'll talk about those benefits. But if for some reason you can't, because I know we're working on the data, but I know we have some service units who don't add the booths, you're doing your troops a disservice by not adding them. But if it's something that you just can't, you're too busy, you don't know Excel, give us your template, give us your schedule, give us your spreadsheet. We will do it for you. We will get those booths uploaded for you. We are happy to do it. That's part of our team, and we're going to tackle it as a team, and we're happy to help any service unit. So we'll definitely be following up with service units when the sale begins, making sure those booths are added. Next slide. So what's really the most important part, oh, my little circle didn't save, but that's okay. The most important part of when you add booths to Smart Cookies is making sure your reserved until date is set properly. So like Gail had mentioned earlier, this is what causes like 99.9% of booth problems in Smart Cookies. When you're entering booths, say you're entering them for that first weekend, January 12th through 14th. You might think, okay, this is the January 12th through 14th booth. So reserved until, you might put January 14th. Well, if you're inputting all of those booths, what's going to happen is if it's a date that once that date ends, any open time slots will share to the entire council. So you want to make sure when you're uploading your booths and you're manually entering your booths, to keep them within your service unit, you need your reserved until date to be at least March 3rd. You can put March 4th, you can put March 5th. That's the end of our program. That's the last Sunday of the program. That means that those booths will only remain open to your service unit in Smart Cookies. If you put an earlier date, when that date comes and goes, if you put, so that Sunday, January 14th, when January 15th comes, if you had any time slots remaining, that's going to open up to all of the council. So that's really where we've gotten the issues, where people are inputting their booths and they're like, wait a minute, another troop from another service unit picked this booth. Why? They shouldn't be able to. When we look into it, the first thing we see is that reserve date is an early date. So that's really important for you as you're uploading your booths, as you're manually entering your booths. Make sure, and it's hard to see this, but you're going to get this. It's column D, and it says reserved until, and it's not I don't believe it's a required field because it's not red. So that could be why two service units have missed that, but make sure you put that date in there. If you get to the end of the sale, it's week 4 and you're just like, hey, I'm done. I'm not organizing them anymore. Whatever's in there is in there. And you want to open it up to area service units, to anybody to pick, remove that date or you put an earlier date. Once that date is earlier, that's going to open those booths up. If you want to share to, your local service units to say, hey, these are what we've got left. We want to fill them. My troops are done. They don't need them. That means any troops can see those booths. And do you want to add anything? I saw you pop in.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that you make sure that your service, if you have to say who it's reserved for. So you want to make sure you put your service unit, and make sure you type it in exactly as it is in Smart Cookies. Even if you add an extra space or something on the end, it won't match, and then it won't reserve for you. So if you're look in Smart Cookies, if you see, because I know some of your service units have long names, so you have some abbreviations, you want to make sure that it's exactly the way that your service unit is listed in Smart Cookies.
And is that changing though this year to the 3-digit number? Wasn't that a change part of uploading?
Well, you still have the ability to name your service units. There's a name and a number. Yeah. Okay. So for the booths, it's going to look at the service unit name. So however it's named in Smart Cookies.
And I believe they have 2 options. So we create a district by county. So you'll have your service unit, and then we create something called a district, which if you're Camden County, we put all of Camden counties, we assign them. So I think what you were saying is that those are the two options they'll see. I think it's going to
Right. You can either reserve it for
Yeah.
a service unit or a district. And so if you want it for your service unit, you click, there's a drop down menu, or if you're uploading it, you would just put in the service unit name. If you're manually entering it, you would choose service unit, and then it's your service unit. So it should auto populate your service unit name if you're manually entering the booth.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. So those are just some little important tidbits that we've realized have caused a little bit of problems over the years. So we just want to make sure, we highlight that as you're entering them in to keep them within your service unit until you're ready, if you ever are ready to opening them up to anybody else. Okay, so next slide. So like I mentioned, why add booths? It's pretty simple. Right off the bat, troops can process their credit card payments. We are going to do some digital cookie training. I'm going to show you a couple slides of what that looks like, but they can't take credit cards for booths and smart cookies unless they're in there. So you want to make sure those booths are in there. And again, the troops are not charged those fees. Last year, we paid close to $30,000 in fees, and we anticipate that going up this year. So, that's $30,000 that troops would have lost had we didn't cover that.
You might want to change the slide just to say that process credit cards through digital cookie.
Yes. How did I miss that one? Yes, it's digital cookie, which we'll talk about next.
You sent me the slide deck, so.
Well, yeah, so it's digital cookie. Yep. So we'll talk about digital cookie in 1 second. Booths that are uploaded into smart cookies filter into digital cookie, but then they also filter into the GSUSA booth locator. So that is what that's that image. That's what customers go to. And you'll be surprised how many customers go to that little zip code search. They go in looking, when they put your address in, your zip code, if your booths are not in there, they are going to get to the next town. So those customers may want to go to your town, but if you have no booths in there, they're not going to be able to go. They're not going to see any of them. So they're going to get triggered automatically to the next closest zip code, the next closest town. And then they're going to go buy cookies at another town, which, yay, we're all supporting girls. But again, this is supporting the girls in your town because customers are specifically looking for your zip code. And then they can also share their booth information easily once they're in the system. So that's always a benefit. We'll talk about virtual booths in a minute, but that's always great for troops to say that's one of the things that troops can do on social media is post where their troop is boothing. So, it's another great tool. So we really want to make sure that you as service unit cookie managers are utilizing the systems that we have in place. And then again, after your lottery, it makes it so much easier because you can just put it out there as first come, first serve. Don't stress out about trying to do this other virtual lottery, picking names. Like, you just put it in there and then it's up to the troops to select what they want. Okay. Next slide. So digital cookie. So this may be the first time you're hearing about this, but digital cookie is a unified online selling platform that allows Girl Scouts to sell cookies through their personalized storefront or by using their mobile app. So digital cookie replaces the smart cookies for the girls. Troops are still going to do 99% of everything that they've always had to do in smart cookies. They're going to place their initial order, place their restocks, put in their booths. They're going to assign cookies. They'll have the booth divider. They can do all their transactions. Everything is stayed the same for troops, except for the order piece for the girls, because troops will see girls listed in smart cookies for purposes of transferring them cookies to give their credit. But the girls will not be in smart cookies. The girls will be in digital cookie, and that's where they'll be taking orders, and that's where they can take troop booth sale orders. The app is really amazing. It can be picked up by Google Play or the App Store. It makes it super easy for girls to accept payments for any cookies, whether they're going door to door or at their booth. They can see all their goals. There's going to be, more information on that. So that's something new that we'll be training on. Next slide. I kind of jumped it a little bit. So this just shows you a little side to side breakdown of what troops and girls do in digital cookie. What we're going to focus on for a few slides is the two highlighted in red. And again, I'm not getting into it too detailed because we're going to have trainings on this. But troops still, again, they do everything in Smart Cookies, but those on the left are the few things that they can do in digital cookie, which is basically monitoring the girls' sales. They'll see all of the sales. They'll see if there's orders that need to be approved. They'll see if a girl has a ton of orders that you're going to have to give them cookies for, which is really nice. Again, they're going to share and facilitate, well, create their troop virtual booth links. I'll fix that before we send it out. Troops can refund the orders because again, there's no orders in Smart Cookies this year. So any refunds will have to go through digital cookie. And then the girls, like I had already mentioned, that this is their site. That's what they're going to share. They're going to take and approve their orders and then collect payment, credit card payments for orders, for their own orders and for booths. What's also nice about the girls thing, because most of you are troop leaders, is the girls will be able to, in Smart Cookies, choose what rewards they want. So if you saw our rewards lineup, there's choices for almost everything. So in digital cookie, once they hit that level, the girls can choose all their orders, and then the troop leader can run a report of their choices and then take that report to enter in those rewards in Smart Cookies. Okay. So the next slide, the virtual booth links, there's two this year. So they're very similar to what was in Smart Cookies last year. The virtual booth is an online pre-order prepaid booth opportunities for troops. This is essentially if a troop knows that they're already going to be at a booth location on a weekend, they can create a virtual booth link to do pre-sales. They can share that online and say, hey, troop 10 is going to be at Walmart from 3 to 5 on Saturday. Order and pay for your cookies now, and then come over and pick them up. That's exactly, you know, they can set up their site, the pickups at a church, you know, anywhere they want to just get all prepaid orders is that first booth link. Essentially the same thing. So they'll create this link. Customers will get the link, they'll pre-order their cookies, they're going to select the pickup time and date, location, they'll see all that information, they pay for the cookies, which is great, and then they will just go to the pickup location to get their cookies. So again, it's really great to be used with existing booth sites because you're already going to be there, so why not pre-share a link to get some early booth sales? And like I said, there's two different links. So this page will show you when you're in your digital cookie dashboard, you're going to see your troop virtual link. And again, this is right on the front. So the top one is that troop virtual booth link. So you can copy the link and then paste it in your social media, or you can view a QR code. So, you know, that's something else you can share and use for people to scan with their phones. The second link is the troop shipped only link. So that is equivalent to the direct ship link. So that's if your troop, maybe you're doing an only online sale. You can do the same thing. You can copy the link. You can, you know, share the QR code. That link will direct customers who are going to pay for cookies, pay for shipping, and then have them delivered from the baker directly to them. Orders are the exact same way like last year. You don't process these orders. You don't ship these cookies. They are essentially prepaid. They populate in your account, and the baker ships them out directly. All you have to do is then assign them to the girls. So the girls get some credit for those orders, and that's it. So the page on your troop dashboard, that's where you'll see, you know, these links. With the troop virtual booth link, there's a couple steps to that because again, you have to set up your site. You know, it's not just share the link, like you have to put in the information on where customers are actually going. So there's a really great tip sheet that will show you step by step on how to do that. And then your troop shipped only link, there's nothing you have to do with that. That's the link that will get uploaded to the National Booth Finder on February 16th. That will run until the end of our sale. So the way that works is the exact same as the past few years. Starting February 16th, customers looking for cookies will enter in a zip code. it'll go to those nearest troops in that zip code, and then it automatically kind of rotates and picks different troops, and customers basically order cookies. So it's a lot of heavy promotion on that, and it's essentially just a whole lot of free cookie orders for troops. There's nothing troops need to do. Did I miss anything, Anne? No? Okay.
No, we should
So
go ahead
again,
and-
if you go to the next slide, we're going to talk just quickly about accepting credit card payments. Again, there's going to be trainings. I'm going to do troop level training, parent level training. We're going to show you the tip sheets on how to do all this. This is just a quick view for you. When girls, and this is what a lot of people are excited for. So because you have different parents who are at booths. So as long as the girl has set up her account in Digital Cookie, she can log on through the app. And then when she logs on through her app, she'll see there's two options. That's the little black box, and it's going to show her name, which is her girl account, or it's going to show her troop account. Essentially, if they're at a booth, what you want, parents will select that troop account. And then that's where the girls can create an order if a customer wants to pay with a credit card. So they'll create an order. And again, lots of, there's a whole tip sheet on how easy it is. But essentially, they start a new cookie order. They select the packages that the customer bought. They'll hit give cookies to customer now. There's a little button. They say yes. And then it'll say sold at a booth. And then there'll be a drop down. So if the booth is in Smart Cookies, the troop will see, okay, this is the booth we're at right now, the time and date. They'll select that, and then the customer will then pay. What's nice about this new credit card function is through the app, both Apple and Samsung phones, they have the scan feature. So this is not taking a picture of a credit card. This is literally just reading the numbers. So you just the customer can hold up the card, it'll scan their numbers. And then I believe the customer kind of has to put their zip code in to confirm. They don't have to put their address in and all of that information. They can manually type their number in too if they don't want to scan, but the scan feature is literally just taking the numbers and plugging them in. It is not saving those numbers on your phone. And then it's super easy. You just submit. And then if it's selected at the booth, those payments automatically filter back to Smart Cookies as a booth payment for those booth cookies. The orders, they feed back, and then troops can use that Smart Booth Divider tool to give, to assign all the cookies. Okay.
Just quickly, Rebecca, there's just a question about keeping track of inventory for virtual booths before we move on too far beyond.
Yeah, so I mean, you're going to get these prepaid orders in advance of the booth. So you're going to see what you already need to have. And is there a way to shut off the orders before?
Yes, in fact, when you get to that tip sheet from GSUSA, they recommend that you cut off your orders 12 to 24, and we did the same thing when we had it. Shut off your orders 12 to 24 hours before your booth, and that gives you the opportunity to make sure that you have enough cookies or secure additional inventory, or even get the girls together to pre-pack them in bags so that and label them. So that's the best practice to do would be to cut the orders off in advance, again 12. So if your booth's on Saturday, maybe you cut off taking any additional orders Friday at noon, and that gives you enough time to make sure that you have the right inventory.
Yeah. And then again, you can always try, if you see, oh, wow, we had a lot of sales, you may, try to do a troop to troop transfer. If you didn't have already a pickup location at a planned order, I would recommend holding those orders because they are prepaid, keeping those to the side and then selling what you have. Like, don't try to, double sell, because these customers are probably people, so they've already prepaid for them. They're going to swing by and pick them up. And then, if you're not able to get extra cookies, then you just sell what you have left. Again, this also doesn't have to be at a booth. Like if you have You know, I know some people really heavily use this at churches. Like they know, hey, I go to my Sunday church and I'm done with church at 1. They were, you know, they got permission from their church to utilize that as a pickup center. You know, if you know, I don't think it's recommended you use a home, right? And
Well, yeah, they don't usually recommend homes, no. It should be a public place,
Yeah.
and that's just for girl and adult safety.
Yep.
It
Yeah.
doesn't go out to Booth Finder if you set up like a troop secured booth. Yeah, it does go out because it
Yeah.
was virtual booths that
And if you're
didn't.
sharing it, like if you share it on social media, anybody can order. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you want to be at a place like you have permission to be at, you know, if it's again, like if it's a church or, you know, maybe you're at a weekend gymnastics and the gymnastics person says, hey, yeah, you can have a table outside. You know, these are locations that you have permission to be at for a specific time, but then it can also be rolled into your actual booths that you're already at. So just keep that in mind. I know somebody had asked, like, can we just pick our house? And it's like, no, you don't want strangers coming to your house. And that's why, like lemonade stands, we do not enter them into booths. So, I believe the booth finder as well will also not, there's a lot of keywords in there that they like will not upload booths at. So like if it's a residence, they won't upload the location. There's some other like keywords that are kind of like if it's just a bar, they won't do that. Or like
Dispensary is
a
usually one.
dispensary, yeah. So if there's certain names that, you know, the GSUSA, if it's a booth that girls should not be at, they're going to flag it and not add it. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, we'll have the booth template in the rally hood, you know, probably by Monday at the latest. So let's just see. I think one more slide. Yeah, so don't panic over this stuff. There is a lot of resources, literal step-by-step tip sheets. There's a sample right there that GSUSA has created with, you know, instructions, detailed screenshots of how to do every function will be uploaded into the rally. They'll also be available in digital cookie once you're in there. We are going to do a ton of trainings. We're going to do, you know, a girl family level. We'll do a troop level. We'll do stuff with you as well, so you can see. So there's a help desk in digital cookie, lots of resources. So don't panic. We just wanted to give you like the quick heads up before other troops see this in their guides and things like that. Next slide. Okay, so now Gail is going to go into improper participation.
All right, so just a little information here. So if a troop, a parent, or a Girl Scout displays repeated behavior that does not honor the Girl Scout cookie program policies and guidelines, GSCSNJ will consider whether disciplinary actions are warranted. Consequences could include cancellation of booths, no participation in future product programs, and/or dismissal from volunteer positions. Consequences will be carefully considered according to the degree of poor contact displayed. In your guidebook, you can find a list of improper participation guidelines. And then also what's important is if you have somebody who is not participating properly, you need to complete an incident and injury report, and that form will be on the SU Cookie Rally. That was a little short section.
Yeah, that I think
Well,
that's
thank you.
really key. What Gail was talking about is just, you know, the best thing to do is document these things.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we get these emails and the service unit managers are like, oh, this is like the second, third, fourth time. Like, you know, what can we do about this? So, you know, we have this whole kind of like 3 strikes, you're out guidelines, and you know, we can't really enforce consequences unless we have documented proof. So it's really important that, you know, not only you email us and let us know, but you complete this incident and injury report form. That will go to Lori Wolfhope, the membership team, and they, you know, our membership specialists work with us, our membership managers, to follow up. We make sure it's documented in Salesforce on their membership account. Usually the first consequence, the first warning is talking. A troop posted the wrong, in something they shouldn't post, or the wrong price. And we let them know. Parents, it's really hard. You're reaching all your troops. They don't come to your meetings. The troops have to tell all their parents. So, people miss stuff. They don't read all of the guidelines. So we really try to give people, that first warning, let them know, hey, this is against the guidelines. Please remove it. This isn't how things should be. But it's really key that we have this stuff documented, because if we do deal with repeat offenders, we need to make sure that we have everything in place. If we're going, unfortunately get to the point where we might have to say, you can't do booths anymore, or this parent cannot do booths. Maybe the volunteer needs to be dismissed from that position. Thankfully, I've been here almost 10 years. It's really few and far between, but in dealing with repeat offenders, that it could happen. So we really just need the documentation in place, more than just an email. If something happened, we need to know. And usually, unfortunately, sometimes this stuff happens at booths. We've gotten a couple issues last year, again, where 2 troops showed up. One troop was parked a car in front of the booth, and the exhaust was hitting the girls and yelling and then blocking, telling customers to walk away. These are things that may go beyond a warning. You have to remember, you need to train your troops, that they need to train their parents, that they are out there as representatives of Girl Scouts. So it's not just, the possibility of losing a booth location. That's an issue. It's the possibility of, we're in a social media age where people record everything. So, the last thing we want is some troop leaders fighting over a booth, or yelling at girls, or telling customers to not buy from them, and it going viral. So we really need our parents, our troops, to train their parents to remember that in this role, they are not just parents. They are, representing Girl Scouts in the community, and they need to be on their best behavior. And if there is any type of issue, they need to contact the council. There's an emergency number. They need to contact somebody in their service unit to handle it, and not take matters into their own hands. And, if unfortunate poor conduct does occur, again, you don't have to address the situation. You can fill out the injury and incident report form, and then membership or our team will address it. And, again, because we know you might know some of these people, be neighbors or friends. So we're okay if we need to do that, but we do need to document it in case it gets to the point where, heavier consequences need to be enforced. Okay.
Somebody asked about social media guidelines, and I think that is something that gets has a lot of confusion around it.
Yeah, and we have in the Troop Cookie Manager Guidebook, we're almost done with that. We're just waiting on the final approval. We do have a whole section and like a do's and don'ts on what girls and parents can post and where, and what troops can post and where. So we'll definitely make sure we highlight that. You and your cookie manager want to highlight that, your service unit cookie manager at training, because there's definitely a whole do's and don'ts like spreadsheet that we have in the guidebook that lets parents and troops know what can be posted and what can't be posted. Essentially, parents and troops can post where they are boothing. If they are having a booth at a public location, they can post that on social media. They can't post that they have a lemonade stand, they can't post the girls' individual sales link, but they can post on a community page. If you're part of Cherry Hill, you can post on a Cherry Hill community page that your troop is boothing at Chick-fil-A on Sunday. You can put those lines because that's safe. You're at a public location and it's the troop. But the troop guidebook will have all of those social media guidelines broken down. Okay. Let's see, any other questions? So girls also, we ask that troops do not put out tip jars. We may get people who want to give a donation. We ask that, you have an envelope, you have an apron, you can even, one of the best tactics that we ever did as a troop. Again, this, you know, we have like a donation box. So yes, we have our cookie share, and you can use the donation box for that, but although those are virtual cookies, but you can say, oh, you know, I want to donate. So you can say, okay, we'll put this towards the cookie share, or this will go towards a donation if you want to donate to your local food bank in addition to cookie share. You know, the girls had decorated a box and had a sign up. And then, you know, if the customer says, okay, well, here's $5. So then, you know, the next time I had $6, I would let the girl say, okay, pick a box, let's put it in the thing. That's a donation. But again, you know, we ask that girls, you know, don't ask specifically for donations. You know, if a customer, we know again with the $6 price, if they're like, oh, well, that's too much, you know, you can say, well, you can donate, you know, but we don't want to tip jar out. We don't want a big deal like, oh, here's our Venmo, send us donations. Like, we don't want to do that. And as well as troops also cannot solicit donations for any other organization. So you want to make sure they're not saying, oh yeah, well, by the way, we're also, you know, doing this community service project. Can you donate money for this? Like, they cannot do that. Cookie booths are all about selling cookies. Okay. So again, you know, we will have the service unit booth guidebook out by next week that has some more details on your role and, you know, setting up booths and all that stuff. We're going to do the digital cookie walkthroughs. We're going to get those scheduled for December and January. So lots of more training to come. We are here to help you and support you. You know, you will start to hear from LaToya in the next few weeks about any council booths that are in your territory. You know, we'll keep you posted about Walmart. And, you know, we appreciate everything you do and signing up to do this role for your troops. Boscov's ShopRite, we are taking care of that, Heather. So LaToya is working with them. If you have a ShopRite that's not in the I'm sorry, not Boscov's, Zales. If you have a ShopRite in your area that is not part of the Zales family, you can feel free to reach out to them. But we do, I believe LaToya may have already been in touch with Zales, and we're just waiting on final permission on that one.
Yes, I've been in contact with them. I'm just waiting to hear back about the date. So
yeah. So any other ShopRite family, and if you're not sure if you have a Zales ShopRite, if you're new to the role or you don't remember, just look on your ShopRite website. Go to your local ShopRite, and it'll tell. Usually they tell you, they're like, we're a Zales family, we're a Thompson family, or we're a corporate ShopRite. So the only ShopRite that we currently have a partnership with is Zales Family ShopRites. We are not planning on using Deptford Mall. Deptford Mall was extremely hard to work with. And then last year, when we were in the process of working with them, they wanted like a profit share. So meaning they wanted the troops to give some of the proceeds for the boxes they sold at each shift. So we told them that we absolutely cannot do that. That was in addition to us paying a lease. So we are looking at other locations. I believe we are trying to reach out to the Boscovs at Deptford Mall to see if we can use them again, because we won't need the Deptford Mall permission if Boscov says we can. But we are not looking to set up an actual kiosk at the Deptford Mall. But we are going to see if we can get Boscovs. If you have any other larger areas, you know, by Deptford Mall or in your county that you want to recommend, just shoot us an email and let us know. Gloucester, we're working with Gloucester Premium Outlets to have an outside kiosk. They have been traditionally hard to work with too the past few years, but this year they're excited to work with us. So that will be open for Gloucester area service units. But yep, we're working on all of that. So East Brunswick Mall, we're going to continue having our drive-through booth there. The consensus was the drive-through booths are better, have better sales than inside. And then Woodbridge Mall was a brand new mall company last year, and they said no. So LaToya is reaching out to them to see what we can work out for this year. So we're going to give it another go now that they've, you know, been in business for a year. They've taken over the mall. We'll see what we can do. The other mall that's across from Woodbridge Mall, they've always told us no, even when we offered to pay. So, so we are looking in East Brunswick, definitely is a go for the drive-through booth, and then Woodbridge we're working on. Any other questions? If you're Atlantic City, we got Bass Pro Outlets, the Bass Pro shop that's right by the outlets. They are happy to be working with us this year, so we'll have more information on that location. I know they have a big giant parking lot and they're pretty close to the outlets. I know there's not that great of parking by the outlets, so we're looking forward to that one. Trying to think of what else. Cherry Hill Mall, yes. Quaker Bridge Mall, yes. Morristown Mall, that service unit is handling that one, and then they'll work with other service units near them. Yeah, so our new service centers, we are working with the Dream Lab to do council booths. We're going to work with Hamilton and Egg Harbor. Cherry Hill typically has not been the greatest location. So, you know, we can touch base with the Camden area service units to see if they want to do like a drive-through booth there. But the other locations, you know, kind of same thing with Hamilton. They don't get a lot of foot traffic, but it could be a location for drive-through booths. But yet we're working on all 4 of our locations. At Aldi's, and, you know, so they weren't really wanting to work with us on a council corporate level, but we do know some service units do get their own permission with Aldi's or Lidl, so you can definitely go and ask them yourself. Sometimes it's easier, like they just didn't want to do it on a whole corporate level. So definitely feel free to go to your local Aldi, your Lidl. I even say go to like your Family Dollar, your Dollar Trees, Five Belows. You know, if you have any urgent cares that are in strip malls, go to the urgent cares. They are so busy on the weekends. People might want to get cookies when they're getting, you know, checked up. Just wear a mask and sanitize. Be careful. Don't let them like near you.
They're not feeling well.
Have a shield.
If they're not feeling well, they need cookies to cheer them up.
Yeah, put one of those like plastic shields up though. But there are great locations, you know, too, you can definitely go out to. We have no real rules on who you can go to locally, Lewis. I thought you had asked that earlier. Really, it's just unless it's a council booth. So you can't go to Wawa, you can't go to Walmart. Wait if you have a GNC and wait if you have a Joann's. Those are like the 4 major locations that are council contacts, and Acme. You know, any other local businesses you can go to right away. Okay, kind of saw. So Bass Pro, yeah. So somebody had recommended that, and Latoya had reached out. So Lori, shoot Latoya a message, and, you know, again, we can turn that over to you if you've had no problem setting that up in the past. And then you can work with, you know, your area. I know Melissa had asked, well, is that only open to AC? So, you know, you can kind of work with them to see about sharing that. But yeah, they were very happy with Latoya and said, oh, we absolutely love cookie booths. So that's a go. Yeah, so that's probably why they were so happy, because they're already used to you dealing with them. So yeah, so we'll just touch base with Latoya about that, and then we'll just turn it over to you to handle. I know we had kind of mentioned about not using the Hamilton Mall, that, you know, the feedback there is it's not that great. So Latoya has been working on another location kind of down the road from there, or a different busier area. We got some feedback back from those Atlantic County service units. So we're not looking to set up Hamilton Mall again because of the feedback, but we're looking to try to find another busier location, whether it's a Lowe's or something else down there that can give us, you know, multiple weekends.
So Rebecca, we do have Hamilton because we did get some feedback that they wanted to keep it.
Okay.
So we will have
So
Hamilton.
Latoya is our person, so she'll let you. Yep. So if you want to set up a booth in another service units area, you need to work with that service unit booth coordinator. Hamilton does have a new one this year, so you need to work with them because it's their territory. So they may already have that connection. And then you can talk about sharing booths. But it's really up to that service unit to work with them. You can't just go into other service units and set up booths unless you have the permission of that service unit booth coordinator. And I know some of these towns are very close together, and they, you work with each other, which is really awesome. Sharing booths like Medford Lakes share booths, so we definitely recommend that, service units continue to do that. Work with each other, especially when you have a sister service unit that's very small and doesn't have a lot of businesses. Train stations, New Jersey Transit and PATCO, our volunteers have traditionally set up. So I will touch base with them to see if they're going to do that this year. I don't see why not, because they have done it, but they have been the one to set it up. So I believe it was somebody in the Cherry Hill area that set up PATCO for everyone. And then I believe our West Windsor person set up NJ Transit. So I will follow up with them and confirm that they're going to do that this year. Okay, so that is it. Again, keep an eye out on more stuff from us. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We will have these recordings, the slides, the guides. We'll have all that to you by early next week. And have a great